So this is DroneDeploy. Ian walked you through the app market. So of course we have an app in the app market, and this is the new version of our app. Many of you may have used our existing version. You can see now there's two tabs at the top, one for the sensor and one for the mission planning. What's shown here is our kind of customized front-end mission planner specifically for agriculture. So you can see, you can select what sensor you're flying. There's a calculate parameters switch there. So if you turn that off, you can manually type in your parameters as you normally would. So set your overlap, set your speed, set your altitude. But if you flip that switch over, it brings up this really, kind of ag-centric flight planner where you can select the type of data collection you're doing, whether it's a population count in this case, or various other data collections. You put in a couple of parameters about the size of the plants, set your overlap, and then we give you some recommended altitude and speed based on those inputs. So again, it's intended to be kind of ag-centric, and rather than leaving it to you to decide, how high to fly and how fast to fly, which you heard earlier, are very critical parameters. We ask you some questions about the data you want, and then give you some guidance on flight planning. So it's just a nice little front end that we put in, and of course all the back end is still handled by DroneDeploy. But if you switch over to the sensor view, this is all the new capability within the 3PX. Again, it's enabled by the DJI Payload SDK. So on the left there is the status of the sensor. As soon as you connect the sensor, the drone and DroneDeploy know that a 3PX is connected. It gives you the status. In this case, we're ready. It shows you the SD card usage, so if you're running out of space on your card. Those three LEDs are from, again, what we call our Ambient Illumination Sensor, AIS. But those are real-time sunlight measurements that are displayed in the app. So if the sunlight conditions change, you'll know. Those will switch from yellow down to red if there's not enough light to do your data collection. And then on the bottom are a variety of options to obviously start the image capture. There's some sensor tuning options, which I'll show you in a minute. You can create logs from your flight. You can format the SD card. So really all kinds of real-time communication with the payload, again, just to ensure the efficiency of your data collection, the efficiency of your operation. As many of you know, I assume there's some SlantRange customers listening, but prior to this, the only real information you have about the status of the payload was a sequence of LEDs blinking on the sensor, which requires a decoder ring to figure out exactly what it's telling you. But now you've got this real-time information coming from the payload. So I'll walk you through what these various steps do. This is the calibration screen. So here you can calibrate the accelerometers, the gyroscope, the compass. There's a few other configuration options, but again, this is all done natively inside of DroneDeploy. This is the compass calibration screen. Many of you may be familiar with this, but you have to put the aircraft into various orientations to calibrate the compass. So they turn yellow for the position you need. Green means you've already done it. Red means it's still to be done. There's a progress bar at the top. So just walks you through that process. Once you start capture, you can see that ready state switches over to initializing cameras. So you'll know that it's initializing, acquiring GPS. It walks through a few different states. And then once you start capturing, you get a little pop-up. So it's actually capturing. You're getting your images. You're ready to go. You launch your mission. It goes through a standard pre-flight check. And then once you're flying, it's just like any other mission. And importantly, on the left bar there, you can see that the image counter actually increments just like it would with any other DJI camera. So the system is working, you're capturing the images, again, intended to really make sure you're getting the data you need and not spending your time if the sensor isn't configured correctly, if you're not getting images. So again, kind of this real-time feedback. There are many more hooks in place that are supported by that Payload SDK, including the transfer of actual imagery. So lots of new capability that we'll be pushing out over time, but this is the current implementation in DroneDeploy, which again is a whole host of new information that previously wasn't available. So pretty powerful integration.